Show? You are live in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, on this episode of the Timeless After Show, we're breaking down Party at Castle Varlar. We're going to find out if the panel finds out, I'm going to go back in time and do this again, but we'll find out while I'm doing that and I'm hopping in the mothership if the panel's shaken and stirred by the events of this episode. Let's do it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Ooh, a little,
Oh, there it is. You need those
There
trumpets
you go,
in
yeah.
We need like
a little James Bond fanfare.
It's like a
your
mixture
Bond
between
girls.
like Charlie's Angels and like James
I know,
Bond.
we'll be his Bond girls.
Hey, I'm fine with that.
All right, I'll take that. Yes. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Timeless After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. We'll be breaking down, as I said, episode Party at Castle Varlar. We've got the full panel. Finally.
Yay! We did
Yes.
Is this the first time?
Yeah.
First time, four
Yay.
strong.
Yeah, because the ladies were missing. We switched.
Yeah.
Right.
For the first two episodes, and now we're
Exactly.
here.
It's about
We're
time.
here.
Get it?
Ah!
Get out of here.
So finally, you're
Get
going to
out.
hear four people talking about the events of this episode here. I'm one of your hosts, Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie.
I'm Alexis Torres. You can find me all over social media at atorres890. That's ATORRES 890.
It's almost like a phone number.
I know. It's kind of long.
I don't think you want to advertise that on the show per se.
No, I do not.
No, really? No, it's okay. You guys can find me online on Twitter and Instagram at Kari D. Lane and Facebook at Kari Lane Actor.
Live. Chris Howard live. No, that was Bond, James Bond.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I
At
liked
Chris
it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. You can find me at Chris Howard live on Twitter and Instagram. Please do so.
Fantastic. Now, folks, if you wanted to, you can hop on Facebook, give us those likes there on there, give it the 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Alexis Torres has got the chat open right now. If you
I
want
got
to
it,
chime in
too.
about your
Yeah,
thoughts about
yeah, she does.
We got 2 chats.
I got it on
that.
my phone.
Oh,
Close enough.
all right. Look at that.
I like to bring my laptop.
The
everywhere.
I don't
ladies.
have a laptop.
The ladies are manning
share
that
it.
chat.
Yes.
So if you have any thoughts about this episode or Timeless in general, just chime in, let your thoughts be known. And speaking of social media and ways to get in touch with us here, Kari Lane was so kind to bring this bag right here
Yes,
from
check this
Timeless,
out.
gotten from Comic-Con.
What?
We're going to tell you a little bit later in this episode how this very bag could make it into your hands. So
my
stick with us
gosh.
at the end of the show. We'll tell you how you can get a chance to win not just
Yes.
one, but maybe 2. Maybe
Oh.
somebody is going to win both bags. But
It's
there are 2
possible.
bags
Or
in
separate
play.
bags.
Yeah. I want to give
We'd
fair
like it to
chance
go
for
to
people to
different
maybe
people,
not.
but
Yeah.
it's possible. All things are
no.
possible. He's like,
No,
trying to
you
build
get
them
2
out.
It's a
bags.
time travel
You
show.
get 2 of them.
Anything's possible.
We'll go back in time and redo that.
All right, yes. That's what I love about this. We're going to go back and start this whole thing over again.
Neil, let's go.
All right.
Start from the top.
Do
Hop
it.
in the mothership, guys.
Yeah, we're with you.
So this one episode, I guess we start back here in Germany, December 7th, 1944, and it's Nazis. Why does it always have to be Nazis, guys?
It's a very easy thing that everybody knows what that is, though.
Yeah, you're not going to find too many people who are going to be like, man, why are the Nazis getting picked on so much?
Where else would they go in 1944, though?
Maybe America.
Okay, let's just go over there. There's
Something exciting happening.
But it was a cool episode.
No,
though.
No, I
it was
really
very
liked
cool.
Yeah.
it.
I thought it was one of the best episodes to date. Personally, I don't know.
No, that's
All right,
that's
all
your
right.
opinion, dude.
You guys
Like,
all
yeah.
looked offended. I just wanted to make sure that.
No, I think it's
No,
great. Good for
and
you.
we start off with the big, we're at a big gala, big fanfare, big speeches being proclaimed about how, the Reich is going to come and defeat America, and we see a rocket being launched off. And that kicks us into the episode, which is some kind of really cool, intriguing way to get us in.
You already said launch, so I was going to say it launches us into the episode. But
You guys and your puns, man. It's just all over the place.
There are a lot of puns.
I love how every panel that I'm on, I always have a panel who loves puns, and I'm just sitting here just like,
Okay.
Oh, get ready then.
I'm just gonna go put on
I
my
have
black
so many.
lipstick and be a.
yeah, I'm just going to be the brooding
Anarchist.
person in the back.
Yes. Oh, well, someone said this, which this is true with anything with Nazis. They're like, why didn't they just go and kill Hitler? It's like,
I love how we didn't actually see Hitler, too.
yeah, no,
No.
it's
We just
yeah.
heard of
But
his
Hitler
presence.
dies anyway.
Yes.
But then if you were gonna kill Hitler, you would have had to go back like before it started. And then it's just everything they've addressed in this time travel thing of if you change something, it can catastrophically change the rest of history, and you don't know how.
No, that's very true. I mean, it's a timeless question that's always posed to people: do you kill Hitler? Do you kill Hitler in the
I
crib?
just pretended like it didn't happen,
No.
but I died a little bit on the inside.
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit.
So we come back to present day and we find out that our able-bodied tech crew have finally figured out that the mothership, they're in Oakland somewhere, 50-mile radius. They notice that there's a drain on some energy, and they're able to look at the very block where they think the mothership is.
That's pretty amazing. The
that was
surveillance
nice, yeah.
capabilities that they
Yes.
have. This is high-tech stuff.
Yeah, and so finally
Go
we get a
tech
chance.
girl.
Yeah, we get a chance to see where the good guys finally seem like they have a leg up on
Yeah.
Flynn and his crew. But Anthony, we find out, we started kind of seeing that he's trying to take out the plutonium core that he got from last week's nuclear missile. And now he's trying to put it in some sort of device. Needs 30 seconds. I need 30 seconds. You want this done right.
And he needs his classical music to concentrate too.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
it'd be kind of hard to listen to heavy metal. I mean, people. no, like it's
there's
not
some people.
No, I
Yeah.
had an ex-boyfriend of mine, his roommate. Like he couldn't study without playing like some crazy like slasher music, and I was like, that's awesome, you go for it. But like I can understand like after like hours, I'll be like, okay, I need a
Okay, I'm
break.
just gonna blow this
Well,
thing
that
up.
was like Big Short. Christian Slater, his character, he listens to heavy metal while he does stuff.
Yeah, okay. No, like it's not a bad thing. I think it's awesome because I listen to musicals.
Christian
when
Bale,
I'm trying
I'm
to do
sorry.
that.
Christian
Yeah.
Bale.
I mean, I listen to musicals when I'm trying to concentrate, and that's a lot of people are like, that's hard because there's people talking, and I'm like, it just
No musical, it's singing.
no,
I
but
get
like
you.
there's like
Yes.
yeah, but like I don't know. I think it's awesome.
Could we get a musical episode on this show?
I mean, that's how you know the show is doing well when they throw in a musical
throw in a
episode. any show except maybe for Friends back in the day, but like anything that like now they always have a musical.
Are they really
episode.
doing that on Flash and Supergirl?
I think so. Yeah,
Really?
because
They're
there's
really gonna do a
because
musical
the majority
episode?
of the cast are singers. So
Ah.
like the two main leads are from
Melissa
Glee and yeah.
Yeah, Grant.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
mean,
So if you're doing really well, you get a musical.
Yeah.
Well, I also think too, if you have members of your cast that also sing it. I don't
Yeah,
know if
it's
any
just-
of
Yeah.
our cast, of this cast
We don't know
sings.
that.
Well, we don't know. I have no
don't
idea.
know.
Find out if you, Abigail,
Let us know.
if you sing, just let us know. All right. So we do find out why it's leading the raid, and they get away. So, but they find out that the mothership has gone back somewhere in 1944. They have the idea it's somewhere in Germany, and they're trying to figure out like exactly why. The date's not ringing any significant bells.
But see, they did think that potentially they wanted to give the bomb, which is what I thought last week. I was wrong. But that they were going to give the bomb to Hitler prior to the U.S.
Yes.
So that's what our characters thought. And then
Yeah.
they're like, whoops, we're wrong.
Right.
No, no, no.
Kidding.
But at least Lucy does have an idea that there was a German bar over there, Das Steinhaus. There was a home base, so there was some Allied resistance in there. And thinking like, hey, maybe we can go there and make some connections there and find out what's going on. And Wyatt just casually drops, oh, I speak German.
Yeah, I speak four languages. I love that
Well,
he
it
didn't tell
makes
us what they
sense,
were.
though.
Yeah. No, it would be. I don't think I've met like. No, it's not true. Like, I don't think I've met anybody who's like well up in rank that hasn't, at least that's not bilingual in like
Yeah.
a point. So.
Did you guys see the video online where it's a 4-year-old or something, little girl, and she does the competition where you have to speak multiple
Oh
languages?
my God, I did see
Yeah,
that. That was
that
amazing.
video is awesome.
It just
That was
Yeah, we
insane.
just fail of languages here in the U.S. You got one, maybe two.
Yeah,
There you go.
I got
Well,
two.
You got two?
Yeah, because I'm half Filipino, so I know Tagalog
So you
and
speak
then
Tagalog.
yeah, and then English.
Nice.
It's been so funny when you have a child, just inundate them with multiple languages while they're young, because they
Yes.
soak it up like a sponge.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. And then we finally get to see something we've talked about before, is you're going through all these different periods in time. How do you just happen to have clothing appropriate for all these eras you could possibly
Let
visit?
me answer this.
I love that scene. It made me so happy.
We have the wardrobe, Doc.
Yes.
And so basically it's just like a giant clothing
Warehouse, yeah.
warehouse.
1920s, 1930s, 1940s.
It
A
reminds
little bit
me
of everything, and in all your right sizes.
Yes.
Apparently so. I was
Yes.
like, how do we actually know that? But it reminds me actually of the Universal lot because
Yeah.
if you have seen, I can't remember what that movie was. I think it's Big Fat Liar.
Yeah,
where
Frankie
they
Muniz,
have the
everybody.
giant warehouse where you can go in there and all
Yeah.
the props and costumes are in there. We got to go in there for when we did Secret Garden in my high school, and we took some furniture from. Well, we didn't take. We obviously paid for it, but
Rented.
like we
Rented.
Yeah, we rented the furniture for it, and we got to run around and stuff like that. It was really cool. So
They're going to use it against you when you run for president.
Maybe.
The one thing I like about it, though, I mean, this is basically just over in Mason Industries there, but I do like that he has all the wardrobe there lined up with all the different eras, but then also make sure to tag it with Mason Industries, just to make
Yes.
sure, guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't forget.
They'll say it inside the collar, too, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Can you
like
imagine? It's like you took off your jacket and they're like, "What is this?"
It's
Never,
a brand new company.
Yeah, you didn't know about it?
It's branding. Branding is key. Mason's never one to let something slip by for him like that. They realize that the way that you make a connection over at this bar is you have to order a very specific type of cognac, and that signals that you're basically friendly. You want to make that connection with somebody.
It was a 23.
23.
Yes.
23.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the what was it, the name of it there?
See,
Remy Martin 23.
When they said they didn't have it, did you guys think that the guy was going to come around anyway? Did you kind of get the sense, or did you think he was shutting them down there?
No, I think he was trying to shut him down, like completely. Like, yeah, you ain't. We know that you ain't.
See, I kind of
getting
felt
in.
like, okay, he's just going to play that and then come and say hello through the back door or something, you know?
The bartender?
Yeah.
Nope. No, I felt the bartender was like, nope,
Just
you've
shutting
ordered
them
the wrong
down,
one.
that's it.
But I thought it would happen the way Ian Fleming's character showed up, that somebody else would come up to them because they heard them order it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the bartender who's going to do it. It's going to be somebody else who's nearby.
See, I was thinking that he was like, you guys don't look like you're from here, and I'm not giving you squat. And that was pretty much what ended up happening.
You think it would be pretty hard to fit in and really seem like you were from the time, don't you think?
No, yeah, and I don't know.
Even if you had
Poor
the clothing.
Lucy can't talk at all. I'm like,
Right,
as soon
she's
as
gotta
she
keep her mouth
speaks,
shut.
And also
they'll be
her,
like,
I'm
you're
sorry,
American.
I love this actress, but her entire face was just like, I'm nervous, and I don't know what's happening, I'm just gonna smile. And I was like, no, you need to act. Ooh, well, okay.
That's kind of what she was playing in the role, was that the role was...
and then she got better later because she had
did.
her moment and focus.
And that was fine.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, get it, Lucy.
She had,
but like
but she
at
had
this
like
point in
anxiety.
time,
she's
yeah, she's
not
having a
an
hard time.
agent yet.
I know, but I was just like, girl, you're ruining everything.
She's an academic.
I know.
She had a car accident. She was drowning.
That has really.
Yes, that was the whole point, that she was feeling all whacked out this episode.
But we're gonna
because-
get there.
Okay.
But at this point in
Did I-
time, we didn't know that, and I was hoping that she was just gonna go sit down and just let him handle it. But it was awkward with the two of them at the bar. Was what I was saying. Like,
Oh,
you
it
can
was so
clearly
awkward.
see that they're up to something, and the bartender was like, "Yeah, no, that's not happening. Yeah, go now. Bye bye. Do you want a drink? No.
Yeah.
Okay, go."
Or she was not passive enough to be like his passive woman next to him. Because
Yeah.
she still was like, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
But
I'm not
that's
gonna
part
say
of the problem with time
anything.
travel.
Huh?
What?
I didn't hear what you said.
I said that's part of the problem with time travel, is being, from another place. You wouldn't be that passive, and you wouldn't be that, you'd have to.
true.
Yeah.
Well, she knows some of the, but she knew.
So you're saying
like,
she should have acted more, is what you said.
in
Yeah.
the.
The character should
Yes,
act more.
Abraham
yes,
Lucy
no,
should
no,
act more.
the actress
Not Abigail
herself.
Spencer.
No, Abigail Spencer
But
is
Lucy
amazing.
should
I'm
act
talking
more,
about
yeah.
Lucy was clearly she was in her own head,
Right.
and she was nervous, which obviously any one of us would have been the same.
Yeah.
But I feel like if there's a clear mission and Wyatt's trying to be this I'm gonna order this drink and be suave, I was like, you guys are not doing that. You guys are failing right now.
Well, because she's been better at other times and other locations
Yeah.
where she was like, I know how to behave and I know what to do.
Yeah.
But this one, she's
True.
just like,
Yeah,
because
because
of
she was
the
in her
anxiety and
yeah
stuff,
because she
yeah.
was in her head
Yeah.
is what
Got
I was
it.
talking about. I mean, again,
Yeah.
Abigail Spencer's amazing. I think she did a great job. I'm just saying that the character Lucy was way too much in her head because of the
Because of
anxiety,
that. Okay.
and it blew their cover at this point
Right,
in time.
right.
So
Well, you also think, I mean, the majority of places that they've gone already in the past, Lucy's got a very strong connection, or very much familiar with those areas, so she's able to really tap into that. This time she's
kind of flying blind.
She knew
she's
some
kind of
stuff,
flippant,
yeah,
and she
but-
also doesn't know German. So I mean, right there,
Yeah.
it makes it
That's
tough to
true.
be able to
I'm like,
communicate.
That's
Yeah.
very difficult.
That's
yeah.
unfortunate.
So easily understand why she's a little bit like, I'm not.
And she's
Yeah.
surrounded by Nazis.
yeah.
No, again, it makes sense why she's nervous, but if you're trying to get information from Nazis, you probably shouldn't look like you're afraid of them, is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
If you were there, that's how you do it.
I mean, I would try, but I can't because I'm of color and
Yeah.
I would get shot in sight, so it wouldn't even matter.
I was gonna jump in. A couple people in the chat room. Interesting is that people are commenting how Wyatt has a little too much of the 5 o'clock shadow scruff going on. That in so far every time period, most of the time period, he would be a little more clean shaven.
That makes sense.
With the
Interesting.
Nazis for sure, and the 60s for sure.
Yes, correct. I mean, if you
With
notice,
Abraham Lincoln, nah.
I don't think it really matters, but if you
Yeah.
notice, most of the soldiers, at least from what I saw, every single extra was completely clean
it's
shaven.
clean shaven.
Yeah.
Just
So
that
someone
dirty
said,
hippie.
Well, because they were very
Yeah.
big and pristine on your hygiene and things like that.
Yeah.
So
someone said in chat, so why is technically history inaccurate in the past?
There
So
you
yeah,
go.
apparently nobody knows.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Now, what's interesting is the first time that we've seen them go and as they're using they're traveling through time in the ship there, we see from their perspective. Usually we see it from the outside where we see everything, the gears kind of winding around the ship,
Yeah.
and then it kind of sucks in, the papers fly everywhere. This time it was cool to see it from inside, and just
Yeah.
it's very still sort of transition from the present to the past somewhere. And then they just happen to conveniently land right in front of a German soldier.
I felt bad. I know
I
that
knew
he's a
that was gonna
Nazi.
happen at some
Yeah,
point.
I was waiting for it. Even though he is a Nazi, I felt bad. He was like, I had to use the bathroom. I was just
Wrong place,
going
wrong
day
time.
to day stuff, and I just happened to die. Like,
Took him a
that's
little
just-
while to get his gun there.
Well, yeah, he was
Yeah.
in shock. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? Just
A
okay,
giant thing appears
spaceship
out of
appears.
nowhere.
Just out of
You don't
nowhere,
even
there's
know
three
spaceship.
people.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah,
like,
you're like, what's this machine? Oh, there's people in it. You must be enemies. I have to kill you. And he was just, it was all
Too
processing.
late, you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we start seeing to see something that I feel like is going to be addressed probably more as we go on, is that when they run into some sort of problem, Wyatt's first inclination is just, I'm going to shoot.
Well,
Yeah.
I
the problem.
mean,
And-
yeah, it's run and gun, you know?
Yes, and I mean, Lucy's trying to explain to him, we don't know the ramifications of killing, I mean, certainly a major historical figure, but even just like common person, we have
Well,
no
'cause,
idea what's
I
going to
mean,
happen.
that's how we ended up happening with losing her sister on the Hindenburg, was that there was just one person that was a passenger on the Hindenburg, and she lost her sister.
Yeah,
So I mean, yeah. I'm
it's
not
trying
gonna
to
get into
instill
again.
that into Wyatt, like, hey, let's not kill everybody. Let's just find some other way. Nazi or not.
He's a soldier.
Bad guy
or
person
just
or not.
knock him out.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
I
I like
knee
what you-
shot.
Yeah, or like, tie him up. I don't know, something.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand where he could get away, but I'm like, yeah, you never know. He could be
Not
like
yet.
a cut. Yeah, I was like, he could be like a great, great, great cousin. You have no idea.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate. I'm curious to see what those. I feel like there's got to be some kind of episode where there's ramifications about Wyatt's
Maybe
reckless
some
killing.
stun guns or
Some stun guns.
tranquilizer
It was a
guns.
good episode.
Some beanbags.
Some beanbags.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they make their way to the bar, though, and as they said, they're going to go in. Wyatt and Lucy are going to go in, and Rufus, I like this, stays here.
Yep.
Stays
I would have been the same. I would have been
Yeah.
like, stays here. I
Right
stay
here.
here.
And it's like, no, you're not just going to stay here. You're going to go hotwire a car. We need you to have a car ready for us in case things go bad. We need to be able to get out of here quickly.
And he agreed.
Yeah,
To do
I was like,
so.
Rufus is ready to go and hotwire that car. And he gave him a gun, too. So I was like, all right, Rufus didn't feel that nervous to be able to hold on to a gun to be able to go and do what he needed to do.
But I mean, yeah, because they will definitely be trying to shoot at him. So he's
Yeah.
like, got to be prepared.
He's stealing their car.
So the way he walked over to the car was kind of out in the open, that I thought he could be a little more like sneaky.
I was hoping that maybe there was just nobody out
Isn't-
there. So
isn't-
he's
I
like,
thought that's what it was. Yeah, nobody's around.
Isn't that a little stereotypical? They send the black guy to steal a car?
No, but
Well, he is the tech guy that he knows how to do it.
yeah, to,
Okay.
like to hotwire the car. I mean, we're already on the weird
He's not a
tether
soldier.
of no, he's not, and neither is Lucy. But it makes sense for Lucy to be there because
Yeah,
I mean, she
historian.
doesn't know how to hotwire a car. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, again, we're already teetering on that weird part of race, but like. I don't think anyone was thinking, oh, let's send the minority to go break into the car. But like, it was just they needed a car, so it just kind of happened that way.
And usually for every episode, when they come back to some kind of historical location, there's always that little moment of wonder where the cast goes, my gosh, we're back here. We're back in 1863. We're back here at the time of the Hindenburg. But it's always like that little amazement. And this is the first time where it's like, oh man, we're surrounded by Nazis, guys.
They're like,
this is creepy.
Yeah.
What
See,
are
I
we
thought that when they
doing?
walked to the bar, I thought, this would be tough to be inside there. You know, to be surrounded by people that really hate you and want you dead.
Yep.
Yeah, so kind of things like, being a time traveler not always is kind of like glamorous as you'd imagine. There are
Yeah.
times where you can go back, you're like, oh, brother.
That is definitely not what I thought when they said that they were going to be time traveling. I was like, this is not going to be good. Like, it's going to be good for us to watch, but I felt like being in that time travel is awesome, but it has major consequences, and it's not going to be just like, oh, look, we're in this different time era. It's like, no, you could die at any moment in time.
Well, because they're also interacting with the time period.
Yeah.
Because you can time travel, like in Doctor Who, they time travel, but they're on the edge, they're peripheral, so they're not engaged with other people
Yep.
much. So then you're not as much danger. But in this, they're directly having to interact with the event, with the people,
Yeah.
so they're in far more danger.
I mean, this is not like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure where we're just like, let's just grab some people from history and do a history report. Like, it's not like that.
Yeah.
We're clearly trying to
There's
save history.
ramifications of
Yes.
the time travel. But what was cool was you couldn't quite tell what was happening with Lucy throughout the episode. I didn't know if she was maybe killed in a previous timeline and she was beginning to disappear, or something was happening that was causing this. So the anxiety was an interesting reveal.
yeah, and besides her anxiety, she's been kind of tripping on this episode.
Yeah, I don't know what's actually going on, but I like that.
There's something.
Yeah, like I like that Wyatt brought up, like,
hump?
this is about every soldier, going through war and this kind of stuff. Like,
I think
even,
it's more than that. Though.
I mean, of course, there's way more than that. I feel like I think time is actually affecting her because she keeps changing, because she already lost her sister. There's just, she's the first one, just like with like Back to the Future, even though she's not disappearing.
Yeah.
But I feel like all this time travel's really getting to her body, mentally and physically. You know what I mean?
That's right. Although we've not heard any of the consequences or side effects of repeated time travel from anyone. Nobody's mentioned that yet. And maybe since this is such a new technology, nobody really has that. It's like, nobody knows that the continuing ramifications. And because it's not just their interactions with the past that could jeopardize everything too, but then you're also worrying about everything that Flynn's doing that you don't even know about.
Yep.
That is also messing with everything too. So we do get to meet Ian Fleming though. That is our big
So
historical brush with
cool.
greatness there.
Yeah.
Fangirling over and over and over.
Well, everyone was fangirling a little bit.
Yeah,
well,
all four
Ian
of us.
Wyatt's like-
yeah. Oh, and Wyatt. Yeah, the
Yeah,
cast and us.
Yes.
Certainly out of all of them, Wyatt's the biggest one because I mean he just.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
he's
love
so
his-
seen as spy. Yeah.
This show is really does an excellent job being smart about their writing. Like later, Rufus is like, "I love the movies," and Wyatt's like, "In the books."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
it
like,
really,
"Yes,
really
I'm
read his-
that person who's like, yeah, I read the book too."
Yeah, and I think that's awesome that we were able to see like that side of Wyatt
Yeah.
since he's usually pretty serious, and he was just like, "I'm sorry, you're Ian Fleming," and he's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, and it's just awesome just seeing, you know.
See, I didn't know that Ian Fleming was really a spy, so I thought that was very cool.
I didn't really know that
I
either.
had no
I
idea.
thought
I
that
did
was
know
very
that.
interesting.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
I know he has a resort in Jamaica, like I said, it's called Goldeneye. It
Which-
actually wasn't a resort,
it's
it was his
happening, I'm
private
going.
villa.
Oh,
And they turned it into a resort, so now it's Goldeneye.
Actually, listening to the theme music that we pulled up, I was like, I really want to play GoldenEye. Like, I really do.
oh, flashback.
Oh man, I love that game.
And what I liked about this is usually when they've gone back in the past, they've used cover names. This is the first time
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like Wyatt's
Oh,
about
yeah.
Yes.
I'm officer, forget it. We're just like, we're just our real names.
I'm really glad that they did. Again, not to jump like super further ahead in the episode, but I like that they use their actual names because their names got to be put in history, and I thought
That's
that was
true.
awesome because we didn't
Yes.
use last names, we just used first names.
Yeah,
So I was like,
it's safe.
yes.
And so they tell Fleming though that basically there's a V2 rocket and it's on its way to the Germans, and basically that kind of sinks in with Fleming's intel that he's been hearing about. There's supposed to be a big event. They're going to be launching a rocket, so they realize that both of them kind of have different pieces of the same puzzle.
Right.
So they're going to start working together. Look at that, and if you get a chance to hang out with Ian Fleming,
Oh my
Yeah,
come
no.
on.
That's pretty cool.
Also, can we talk about the actor who played Ian Fleming?
Oh, he's
really
so fun.
good.
Really?
Yeah, I thought he was awesome.
See, I don't
Yes.
notice things like that, so I don't
what?
But,
You're
No,
an
he's
attractive
great.
man, Chris.
yeah.
You don't know.
No, I just didn't do anything
It wasn't
for me.
even just that, just like his acting. He seemed like
He was in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he
Yeah,
was being
I
a
believed
spy.
it. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I see, but as charming as he was, he couldn't get Lucy to drink from that wine glass. You know, it's rude to leave a full glass of wine.
I was like, I was with Rufus on that where he's like, oh, James Bond just hit on Lucy. I was losing my mind. I thought it was great.
Who wanted him to kiss her?
We both did.
Oh, I totally was like,
That would be dreamy.
Ian Fleming couldn't have kissed me. I would have been fine with that.
Yeah.
Great.
That
Charming.
would have been
I'd probably
literally
just
one
watch.
for the books. I will say that one. You only get one.
$100.
yeah.
That's worth 2 bags.
There you go. That's right. Oh, all right. I guess these will go with me tonight. All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That easy. And as they're walking around, though, it was nice to see Rufus and Fleming. I wasn't expecting that pairing since Wyatt was such a big fanboy. I was expecting them to have a little casual conversation off to the side. But it's Rufus and Fleming. And Rufus is like, you know, what's it like being a spy and having all these secrets and keeping things from people? Because it's really starting to weigh on Rufus.
And with,
Yeah, it was a good way to ask without being like, so I have this problem. My friend. No, really, it's my,
My
friend.
Yeah.
But then with Von Braun as well, he had the
Yeah.
conversation with him,
Ooh, I
and the two
love
conversations
that.
were interrelated, which was really cool.
Yeah.
So
But I
this
also-
gave spotlight on Rufus.
But I also liked how different the conversations were too, of
Yeah.
how Fleming was very accepting of him. Like there was no like weird, like how Von Braun was, where he was like, "Why would I listen to someone like you?" And he had to do an equation, or he finished his equation for him to prove himself. Fleming just he was just listening to him talk, and that
Yeah.
was nice.
And I
you
felt
know?
like their agendas were totally different. Like Fleming sees keeping secrets is good because it's for the greater good. You're,
Yeah.
The greater good.
Yes. And
I
for
wrote down
Von
his
Braun,
quote: "There's allies, contacts, and women. Never
Yes.
trust, only the mission."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Von Braun, he's willing to do anything just as long as it's going to let him be able to get to space. He'll
Yeah,
do
so
anything
they
he
were
needs
like
to.
they were like kind of the same, but for different motives, which I thought
Yes.
was kind of cool, and also kind of like, oh god, Nazis, scary.
And so they make their way to the rocket, and Rufus gets out his Geiger counter and says, "Oh wait, there's no radioactivity coming from this rocket whatsoever." So clearly, Flynn, at least as far as I know, hasn't been there yet. And you know, if you speak of the devil, he appears.
Who was looking real sharp.
He did look
was.
sharp
That
tonight.
suit
yeah.
looked really nice.
What a fascinating conversation they had too, because it was like you really saw some humanity and connection in Flynn and with his connection with her, and it's like why doesn't he just tell her? Damn it! Why doesn't he just tell her,
never gonna get
this
there.
is what's happening, but they're not. He doesn't just lay it out for her. Still, again.
Strange. I don't know. Actually, speaking of wardrobe, I'm with you on this. Where I'm like, where's Flynn getting his wardrobe from? Because he can't. Did he just steal stuff from the actual?
That's a good point.
Thing and then
Flynn
just took it
doesn't
with
have
him?
a warehouse.
Yeah, that's why I was like, did he just steal from the warehouse and just stick it all in the mothership, and then they just change there? How many henchmen do you have? Do you have to dress them too? Is it just
Yes,
you?
this is true.
I feel like
He has like a team of like 2.
Yeah, he had more, but they killed them all.
They've kind of died.
I just feel like we're gonna get that episode later in the season where it's all from Flynn's point of view, and you see how he managed
We
to
need
run
to
everything.
see how he got to this point.
Yeah,
I
how
need
he's
to see
running
it.
things. Yeah, I need.
Yeah.
Where's his wardrobe doc, guys? That's all we care
I
about.
just
Where's
want to
your-
know.
It matters.
It matters.
But it's logistics of the show of just like,
Yeah.
well, wait, where are you getting it from? And you can't just like disregard that of it magically appears.
Maybe it does.
Yeah,
Flynn is
that's true,
magical,
yeah.
apparently.
And so Wyatt, of course, seeing Flynn, I mean, that just activates, like, I just got to kill this guy. That's my only reason I'm doing this whole thing, is I got to get rid of Flynn. So he got this sniper gun out there, is ready to go, and Warner Von Braun steps in the middle. And Lucy's like, you can't do this. This is way too much of a game changer in terms of history. If you do kill him, that's going to ruin. He's supposed to come and advance our rocket program that gets us to the moon. There's too many things that could go bad with our timeline if you
So
get rid of him.
my question is, would you risk having NASA going to the moon to kill Flynn?
See, we don't know.
Well, the thing is, he's at this point, it's not what he's going to do of who he's going to kill. It's who he's already killed, and are you going to punish him for that?
Right. I mean, just like if he was in the way, if you would shoot through Flynn, Von Braun to get to Flynn and possibly have him
He
die.
could have taken the shot before before Von Braun
Yes, he
stepped up.
could.
But
There's just
what if-
added
He had a
drama.
clear shot.
Yeah.
What if one day the shot to the moon then equaled a shot to Mars, and we had to recolonize? I mean, there's all things that could happen and could
That's
flow
why
from that.
I'm just stirring the pot to
No,
see
no.
what's going
Yeah.
on in your heads over here.
Yeah, because it's the frustrating thing is you don't know what Flynn's true agenda
Literally,
is.
it can go
Yeah.
any way.
You know, and it's like you knowing what Rittenhouse is Flynn on the side of angels, and he's just wrong, and he's trying to, you know, he's really a
Yeah.
good guy. You know, we don't know. That makes that decision so much harder without knowing all those details. So I mean, I think without knowing that, I would not take the shot.
But I agree.
I want to know more.
No, yeah, I agree with Ivan where I do think Flynn is a nut job completely,
Yeah.
but there must be a reason why he is the way
Yes.
he is.
Yeah.
So I was
And
just curious.
What about Mason saying, I'm so into Rittenhouse? You don't know how deep I'm in with them.
I feel like I'll
mean?
wait till predictions for that one for me because I'm slowly starting to get on Flynn's board here just a tiny bit.
Are you?
I don't trust Rittenhouse as far as I can throw him.
Right.
So.
Because kind of the way they show up, right?
But yeah, that scene at the end. I was like, "Yep, that convinced me." There's
They're bad
something,
guys.
There's
That's
something
not a
weird
good
going
guy.
on. Yeah, because
But there seemed to be a theme of there's right and wrong, and this really came out where there's right and wrong, but there could be a bigger picture. They have
I
this
love it.
woven through the whole
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
There's right and wrong, but what about the bigger picture?
Yeah.
Kill him.
We're
I
not
want to
gonna
kill him.
Yeah.
But what about the bigger picture?
And I feel like that's just going to be our main theme for the entire show. It's like you could do this, but let's think big picture because you can't
Right.
just put blinders on and just say I need to kill him because what if?
But with the blinders, the right and wrong seem to be right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, the guy's going to kill a bunch of people. Let's kill him.
Yep.
Yep.
But if
But
we
again,
do, what
that's-
are the ramifications?
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
mean the world can't just be black and white. There is going to be gray,
Right.
and you have to be ready for that.
No, so I feel like you're just like, how much of a big picture? How big is the picture I have to get
Right.
before it's like to
Yep.
not pull the trigger? Like,
Yeah. Are you
what,
thinking
know,
too small in the big
yes.
picture, or
Yeah.
are you actually getting the whole picture? There's too many questions.
And then we have a nice little moment, and I know some people in the chat have been chiming in about the Wyatt and Lucy talk that they have in this episode, and basically how Wyatt's basically just coaching Lucy through it. You got to get over the hump.
Yeah.
That's what happens
Yeah.
with any soldier.
Good pep talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get over the hump or get out is basically the way you have to approach it.
Well, or he says you're gonna crack.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Yeah.
go nuts, or
And she was cracking, and that was
breakdown.
what was
Yeah.
happening throughout the episode. Yeah. Do you think that there was any kind of romantic connection or tension between the two?
I
not,
mean,
not in this one, except for him being jealous with.
That's true. He was a little jealous, wasn't he?
quite.
Oh, he was very like the binoculars and like
like,
the
"Oh,
hand.
come
He's
on."
like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, what's
Because
that
if
all
he
about?
didn't like her, he wouldn't care.
He
He'd
wouldn't
just be
care.
like, really?
But see, I thought that played out right from the very beginning when he buckles her in on the ship.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for a while now.
So let me buckle you in.
Yeah.
I feel like if anything that's there, it's like a subconscious kind of connection, especially with Wyatt still trying to reconcile the death of his wife.
yeah.
and what that's going to
Yeah.
do. I still feel like we have not seen the last of his wife as a flesh and blood.
Yeah,
person
no.
he can
Like I
interact
said
with.
I don't know what episode I talked about. I think it was 2. I think where I was like, yeah, she's gonna come back in some weird, strange way, and then it's gonna get in the way of Lucy and Wyatt, and it's gonna be a whole thing. So I'm excited.
And I did like that Lucy walks away from that. She puts herself in situations that she can control.
It makes sense. If you went through that kind of traumatic situation, of course you'd want to be in situations where you have control.
Which is
Yeah.
the worst thing to do as a time traveler. There's no way you can control
Yeah.
everything.
That's why I think that she's like, it's like really messing with her. One, because
Yeah.
I think like the big like pushing point for her was that she lost her sister because of time, because they were messing with time. She is going to crack at one point in time, or she might get through it. I have no
But
idea.
that is but it really brings a human element to it, because you would feel that way. That the trauma of it would be very difficult to deal with, and it would probably be breaking her down even more than what she's being broken down. So
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
And we see why Wyatt is so quick to be, wanting to just like kill people, like Nazis or anybody
Right.
around Lincoln,
Well,
wanting
yeah,
to save
his
Lincoln.
history was
Yes.
a big part of that, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, that was cool to hear a little bit more of his perspective about why he's coming through that, and he's so quick
Oh,
to
yeah.
want
His
to change the
grandfather.
past. Yes.
Yes, that was a
in
good
the
backstory.
101st.
What's cool about the anxiety too is that it allows Abigail Spencer to play with the role more than she might otherwise, because she's got such chops, acting chops. Like she's amazing. Have you guys seen Rectify?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's amazing as an actor. So it lets her play with the depth of the character a little bit more. So,
Yeah,
I
and
think
she's
that's
doing
cool.
a great job, and we've only seen what, 4 episodes, 4 or 5 episodes, 4 episodes.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, we're on
Yeah.
episode 4. So.
Talk about Wyatt's backstory, though. How do you guys like how the show is unfolding with people's backstories? Because it feels like a normal pace. Because it's not like, hi, my name's Kari, and let me tell you everything about me. And it's just like, that'd
Go,
be weird.
I'm ready.
Go, okay. But it's more just like, Wyatt and Lucy have a moment. Let me tell you this thing about myself to make you understand me and what I've been
Yes,
through.
that's what I was
which
gonna
is
say.
a real conversation.
Because anytime that, whether it's us or like you
Yeah.
meeting somebody, if someone's going through something, you immediately go into, oh, I can relate to you. Here is a story, and I
Yeah.
love that was it. We didn't get like more exposition. It was just like, yeah, so my great grandfather is in the 101st, and this and this and this or whatever, and it was just really nice to see them connect. I really liked that.
And I feel like it's been, because we've had a little tease about Rufus's backstory and his relationship with Mason, but I feel like we haven't really explored much of
Yeah.
that, because that's going to be that's going to tie us into the bigger Rittenhouse agenda there
Well,
with Mason.
yeah, because
so.
right now they're kind of pushing the ship a little bit out into harbor, and then we'll slowly get Rufus to start paddling out there with
See-
his stuff too. So.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
I'm trying to go with analogies, man. I'm usually good at those.
I'm wondering. I'm wondering if something's supposed to happen where Lucy and Wyatt turn against the rest of the group. That
No, I think I think Lucy and Wyatt are going to find out that he was recording them, and it's going to cause problems. But then I feel like something else was going to happen with Wyatt, because I feel like he's also getting instructions from somewhere else.
Oh, do you?
So I feel like it's just going to break up the team for a small second, and something big's going to happen. They're like, okay, we need to get over our differences, and we got to do this. That's what I'm assuming before the finale. I
Interesting.
watch too much TV. That's where all that comes from.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't know if I agree, but I think
No,
it's
yeah,
a good
I don't
theory.
think. Yeah, it's just a theory. I don't think it's actually going to happen. It's just something that I've noticed in TV shows.
Although certainly Rufus is recording all their conversations and their trips
It's going
through
to come
time.
back and bite him in the butt.
The team is
Yes.
going to find out about it, but I'm also thinking from their point of view, it's like nothing they're saying is like confidential, secret. They're not trying to like, we don't want anybody else to
But
know
see,
what
that's
we're
what
doing.
I'm thinking. Like maybe they know that. See, if truly, and we had postulated that perhaps Flynn is her son or somebody, somebody in a generation down. If that's the case, then they must know to some degree what's going to happen in the future. They might know that at some point Flynn or Lucy and Wyatt discover what's happening, and that's why they're recording them now to keep tabs on them for that event that they see as being forthcoming.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
completely agree with you on that. And I also think it's really funny, and like this is me being nitpicky, so I apologize if I've been nitpicky this entire episode. But like Rufus is recording them, but have you noticed they're never really together?
Not all the time. So these conversations, you hear like bits and
They're
pieces
mostly
of stuff.
mostly of Rufus
Yeah.
going, "Oh God, I hate everything. Why am I always stuck doing stuff?"
That's the point. He's not really with them a whole lot.
Like, most
to
of the
really
time.
record the crucial moment.
Yeah, like when he was back in with Abraham Lincoln's time, they would get mostly the arguments between the soldiers and him, and then
Yeah.
for this one it would be him being in the car, and then him
But if they
talking
can build
to
a time machine,
Wyatt.
they could probably record in the other room.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying that I think it's funny because he always keeps giving these recordings, and I'm like, how much are you actually getting
Right.
of the recording?
But put yourselves in Wyatt and Lucy's shoes. If Rufus comes to you, or you happen to find out that he's been recording all this, would you guys be
If Wyatt
so
couldn't,
offended?
If he gave me a reason, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
yeah,
they
which
kill
like
his family,
clearly,
right?
That'd
well,
be
no,
my
he-
first question. Why? Which they probably won't ask that. That's always the thing
No.
in shows too. It's not a just, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. It's never a, please explain. I'm gonna wait
Yeah.
Like,
Better be good.
I mean, I'm gonna hope that Lucy's like that, but Wyatt, since he's not one of those people, like, not saying that he's not smart, but he thinks
quick
with
to the reaction.
Yeah, that he's like, what? He's just gonna be angry immediately, and it's gonna be like, no, Wyatt, you have to listen to what he has to say.
And then Lucy will bring him round and be like, wait, we need to
No, like,
talk
guys,
about
like,
it.
we need to talk about it. And he's like, no, he's recording us. It's gonna be just chaotic.
Maybe, but Wyatt, as a military man, knows that people have orders. Many
That's
people know
true.
different things.
I don't know, man. Like, if he couldn't even let Lucy just, I don't know, because the fact that they were arguing about his wife and her sister, and like they couldn't even like come to an understanding there until now.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I
but
think
I
that
think
once they know the situation,
Yes.
that there'll be immediate forgiveness.
yeah,
you know?
no, I don't think it's
like-
gonna last very long. It's probably gonna be a one episode. We fought, we got over it. Now we're
Right.
moving on, kind of thing, for sure.
Chat room does not agree with you that Wyatt's working for someone.
Oh.
I'm not. Ivan.
They were like, Ivan's like, no.
I'm just saying
that's
that
a big nah.
I don't know. It's just that we don't get to see much of where his orders are coming from, because clearly she has hers from I always forget the lady's name, who's like really like snooty to her, but like he gets a call too. But I feel like anytime he looks at his phone, it always looks like he's like, I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna do it. Like, it's weird. That's again,
Like,
this is
what
just,
is his real motive to do
yeah,
this? Yeah.
like if Rufus has like a backup plan, and then Lucy's just kind of like, you know, in the background.
Yeah.
I'm like, who is Wyatt's superior is what I'm
Sure.
trying to figure out.
And
but
why
again,
did Wyatt come to the table, and what did they
Yeah.
tell him?
yeah, why is he
Yeah.
the best? Why
Yeah.
is he the best one? I'm just saying that I'm not hoping that he's some weird conspirator. I'm just this is just me, because again, I watch a lot of TV. You should know what's supernatural and things like that. That there's always a backstory. Someone's always doing something that's a different motive. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like real life.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kind of.
You understand me so
Yeah.
well.
So our crew makes it into the party. They have Lucy and Fleming infiltrate, while Wyatt and Rufus kind of stay on the outskirts and watch everything go down. And we see that Lucy and Flynn have a conversation, and Flynn says that he's a patriot. That's his big deal. Do you buy that Flynn believes what he's saying, that he's a patriot? Or is he just trying to convince Lucy something to get her to lay off?
I think he believes what he's saying.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes. He believes what he's saying, but what that actually means in context of today,
I don't know.
that's a who knows.
See, that's the problem also with the show, is
Yeah.
that it's like there's clearly something that he like really believes in, but to us it just looks like he's the bad guy, because that's what we're painting him as.
But
But
we're-
clearly it might not be like that.
It may not be black and white, like you said. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like we're looking at a photo this big, and we need to like
we need to see the
back
rest of
up.
the picture and see what it
And-
looks like, because it's out of focus. And I'm like, there's something happening here, but we have to paint him as the bad guy for now.
Right.
But it almost feels too easy that he's just a bad guy.
But if you bring the picture out here, that doesn't mean that he's all of a sudden the good guy. He's just
No,
another
I'm
guy
not
with
saying
motives.
he's just good, but
Yeah.
it's one of those. It's too easy for him to be 100% evil.
Yep.
I think there's
Right.
going to be more to it.
So he's going to actually have depth to his character.
Yeah. I think right now he's going to be one note, because that's what they're trying to paint him as, is like
Right.
he's this guy who's going to ruin history, and then all of a sudden, like, maybe towards the end we have to work
Oh,
with him.
Her name is Denise Christopher.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandler.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we do figure out
Ivan.
that Flynn's plan, though, is he was going to kidnap Von Braun and give him to the Russians and really change the course of
That would be crazy.
history between the
That
U.S. and
would be
Russia. That doesn't work, though. They're able to get Von Braun out of the way. They blow up the rocket, so eliminating that. But they also realize,
Boom.
guess
Killed
what?
like
It's-
4 people.
they still don't. Yeah.
I love how you were just like,
Yeah, there's a lot of
whoops.
collateral damage here in this.
Yes.
Quiet.
But they don't find the nuclear material. And Anthony and Mason, or Rufus and Mason, have an idea like, wait, Anthony had this idea that something's kind of crazy. And we figure out that it wasn't something he was going to try to create a bomb for, but he's creating a power source for the mothership so that it doesn't have to rely on
Yep.
charging. That way they won't be able to track
I
him where he's
like
going.
that. That was smart.
That was, so he's kind of been, now what we thought he was
More
one step
interesting
behind.
than just a bomb.
Yeah, so it's going to be much harder to track him if he goes and needs to
Yep.
recharge a mothership.
But how many of you want to get in a ship powered by a nuke?
Yeah, that sounds a little scary.
But-
doesn't
A
it?
time travel, unpredictable machine powered by a nuke.
Yep. I just
Well, true,
nothing.
but-
That'd be the no.
But they have nuclear submarines. They have.
Yeah, but this is an unpredictable machine.
That won't break the space-time
Doesn't mean I
continuum.
want to hop on a
Like-
submarine and get down to the bottom of the ocean either.
Okay.
Yeah, like either one, either way. No, Honey Bunch is a nope. I don't want it.
Bunch is a nope.
I don't want it. That sounds terrible.
True, but we
Yeah.
did see how frustrated Flynn was last episode about how these guys keep finding me and keep tracking him. So he's trying to get as much off the grid as possible.
No, but it makes sense. It's a really smart way to keep them off the grid. It's just that's also really risky.
It's really risky for sure. So we're before they go back to the future though, we do a little goodbye there with Fleming, who does this try to wait. It goes to Lucy. Will you wait for me?
And I was like,
I like it. I'm coming stateside. And will you wait for me? She's like, no.
I love
But
that
there was that moment.
like her and I were like, and then she had the best, just like, no, and I was like, ah!
It was one of those. I wanted her to kiss him, kind of. I'm like, sure, why not?
I'm like,
enjoy it.
Well, I mean, now that they have a time machine, they could technically go back. Well, no, they can't now because
They
they've
can't.
already
Kind
been
of
there.
sets her up as being too cool for that, though. She's too cool for
No,
James
she is
Bond,
too cool
you know?
for Fleming, but at the same time, it would have been like,
No, but
it would have been kind of
so
cool.
rewarding though, because it was one of those moments where you're kind of like, just do it, just kiss him anyways. But then the line was so good that you go, all right, I'll take that.
Yeah, and it's like, all right. I love how
We
you-
all cheered a little loud, guys, just so you know. While
Yeah,
we were
we got-
watching, we were like, yes!
And then they're like, guys, you guys are being too loud. Please bring it down. And we're like,
Quiet.
sorry.
Are
Be like, no,
saying that
really.
here?
She just turned down.
Oh, what, are they saying that here?
No,
no.
I thought we were having so
like
much fun.
when we were watching it
Yeah, we
earlier,
were
they were
watching
telling
it
us
too
to shut up.
Be like, no, you don't understand. She almost kissed James Bond.
Yeah,
That's
that
right.
would've
Yeah.
been-
The James Bond.
And we saw Alexis. Lucy got as mad as Alexis does when we do puns. Is where Wyatt says, when
Yes.
Fleming says never say never, and he's again. And I was like, really, guys, really, you got to keep doing this.
I mean,
Forget
it made me happy because I was like, yeah, I love
You
that.
see,
But,
you saw,
like,
you saw Ian Fleming stop for a second and think about it.
yeah, because he's like, oh,
good
that
idea.
sounds really good. And I love how she was like, really? And I was like, yeah, she understands me.
So we end the episode with Rufus saying to Mason he's not going to record him anymore. He's out. Mason's on his own. But on his way home from work, car runs out of power, and we have a member of Rittenhouse come
This
by.
was one of the
Dun,
most
dun,
fascinating
dun.
scenes.
I was
thought.
having heart palpitations.
Yeah.
I was like, I just saw Walking Dead. I've seen a lot of my favorite characters who are like, oh man, I'm not going to do this for you. And I'm storming out. And then you never see them again.
Right.
I was going to say, no spoilers, please.
No, that's why I stopped there.
Yeah,
I was
okay.
like, I'm going to stop there.
It's just like any instant, though. He gets out of his car, doesn't look around, and I'm like, there's a car pulling in front of me.
Yeah. He's like,
Just
"Man,
like
what's
Walking
going
Dead.
on with my
Maybe this is just
car?"
a girl thing. I'd be like, doors are locked, and then you're like, all right,
Look
nobody's
out
around.
first,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, and then I get out, I look again.
They're
I'm
practicing
like,
with Halloween around the corner for all the horror movies.
Right? Yeah, it's just,
not cool, man.
he's just like, I'm going to.
I was just like, timeless writers, thank you for playing with my emotions. That was not cool. I was like, you can't kill Rufus, but I mean, I didn't think they were, but
I don't
like,
feel this is a show
I thought
where
they were gonna like
characters are gonna
rough him
die.
up a little bit, and I was
Oh.
like, no, don't do it.
Or he might die or anything.
No,
right?
I don't think.
No, I don't
not
think they're
this
gonna
kind
Game of
show.
Thrones it. I don't
No.
think that's how that's gonna happen.
Even
but I was
Wyatt
scared.
with the trailer for next week. I don't know. He's not gonna die.
No.
So
But
but what about their capability to shut his car down? Like
It's an
that?
electric car.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
And also,
have to-
they're
yeah.
pretty
Oh, yeah.
powerful people.
And there's
I'm
talks
assuming
of-
they like that's like a company
Yeah.
car. I'm assuming because
Yeah.
he works there. So
Yeah. So he's sufficiently intimidated enough that you feel like he's going to get back on board the program and start recording
Yeah.
oh yeah, I don't think he
conversations.
has a choice
Oh,
now.
best little don't isn't it horrible when things don't work the way they should? And you're
But I was like, that's what I was like. No, they're gonna kidnap him and they're gonna beat him up and they're gonna torture him. It's gonna
That was
suck.
a great line though,
That
because of
was
the double
so
entendre
good.
to it, and
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like, oh wow, that was
you're
great.
just like,
Yeah.
Yes, I agree
Skin
with everyone
crawl.
in the chat. It was a supernatural moment for me because I was like, I can't do this, guys. I can't do it. A supernatural TV show on CW.
I was gonna say don't spoil that either.
No,
I'm
no.
like, I know that's been out a long time, but I'm super behind on watching it. But I still,
I mean, we're
own
on
it.
12 seasons. Like
I
it's
know.
still bananas. So you have
I'm
plenty of time.
surprised. Know that show for still going.
No, like for real.
Guys, don't tell me who shot
Anyways.
JR. I'm still behind on that too.
Ah,
Anyway, guys, and we have Lucy. She's figured out what she's fighting for, though, and she says, "Hey, she's got
yeah.
terms for
Yes.
continued involvement
Go,
with this."
girl.
So happy for
Yes,
her.
she needs a leave of absence. She needs a cover story, and she wants to go back and fix history and get her sister back. No buts, or she's out.
No butts, no cocaine.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious to see how they go about trying to correct the timeline and get her sister back.
You're not going to.
I don't think so.
don't
No.
They're gonna try, and then they're like, "Ah, it didn't work."
tried,
Wah,
darn.
wah.
I don't.
See, I was afraid she was going to be not be in the next episode or something, and then they showed her right
Oh,
back
of
in there.
course.
So
No, I don't
We're
we're
think
going to
they're
assume
gonna
the
take
leave
her
of
out.
absence happens
Yeah.
between episodes, right?
No, I think there was just some. It was just that she needed a document to show
Yes.
that she had to take a leave
Right.
of absence to work as a oh my god, I was gonna say consultant.
Consultant.
Thank you. For this department that they made up. That's
Yeah.
what they needed because they're like, why are you
She
not going
needs
to
a cover
work?
story.
Yeah, so it made sense.
Not that she spends much time on the outside, but she needs cover story.
Really.
So that kind of wraps up this episode. We're going to do a quick couple of predictions here before we get to tell you how you can win this super sweet bag. So,
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Chris, quick prediction,
Prediction:
for me, sir.
Davy Crockett's going to hit on Lucy.
All right. Nice. Got it.
That's a joke prediction.
Wyatt is not gonna die.
Ooh.
Because the trailer, he's like, let me do this for you. He's gonna survive. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
But maybe that will be the step that brings Lucy and Wyatt together.
Oh,
It's kind of the nurse
Because
thing.
so far they haven't, it's like flirty but nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But the someone gonna die moment is like,
it's always like
Sparks.
Nakis.
Yes.
I need you.
yeah.
Yeah, as soon as she said that, I was like, we're gonna get a mushy episode. I think that not next episode, but I think we're gonna learn a little bit more about Rittenhouse, especially since now Rufus has been kind of exposed to it now, and maybe he might tell them, but I don't think it's gonna happen next episode. But he might.
him to.
He might be like, guys, because he talked about trust with Mason, so I feel like he might have to say something.
It's gonna be tougher
but
for
it's
him.
gonna be. But yes, it is gonna be tougher for him
Yeah.
because he still has to record it. So I don't know how he's gonna hide that while he's recording, unless he like throws it somewhere and then goes and picks it up. I don't know.
I would like it if you could tell them and be like,
Yeah.
guys, I'm sorry, I have to do this thing.
Maybe
The-
like write
the
it on a
fear
piece of
is,
paper
though,
or something. I don't
What
know.
happens to his family right away? Like if it gets out, like if you were in his
Yeah.
position, it would be very tough.
Write it down.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, and real quick, speaking of Rittenhouse, Alexis's guy, Neil in the booth, in the engineering booth, has been talking about Rittenhouse. There is a Rittenhouse Square in Philadelphia, so it has something to do with the founding fathers, perhaps.
Yes,
Maybe
it does
that's a tie
actually.
back
I
there,
looked at
yes.
it. So
I
Mason,
totally forgot to bring it up.
both
last
Mason
time I was here.
and Rittenhouse are names of founding fathers.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yeah,
So
okay,
could-
that makes sense.
Yeah. So do you know more about that? Because I read up on them. But they were both names of founding fathers,
Neil,
and they were both known
You have
for.
your mic on in there? I'm gonna say no.
No.
because
Yes,
I was
I
gonna.
do.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You can go ahead and give more details about that because you know it more than I do.
Well, what I know, what sort of struck me when I was watching the show is that Rittenhouse Square is a very famous square in Philadelphia. Philadelphia itself was the first planned city in the United States, planned by William Penn. And he planned out all the streets, he planned out all the parks, and that was the first thing that was the first time that parks were incorporated in the planning of a city. And Rittenhouse Square is one of the most well-known ones in the area. And so that sort of struck a chord with me, Philadelphia being the center of the American Revolution and being the U.S. capital for a short time and the home of all that history and all of that, all these like conspiracy theories that sort of stem from the Founding Fathers.
Right.
That sort of struck a chord that maybe there's something to do with that.
Well, and the name Mason comes from the profession of a Mason, and when you think of the Masons, which is
So-
a group, a secretive group.
Yeah. So to bounce off of that, I feel like there's something that they're hiding in that area that we don't know about, and that's why they're called Rittenhouse, because they're like kind of like the protectors of that area because they're hiding something. So that's what I'm thinking.
it.
So I think we're either going to end up in Philadelphia somewhere that has something to do with history in that like shape and form, maybe to like or maybe Flynn's trying to get rid of Rittenhouse altogether. Like it's, I don't know. Like when he keeps bringing it up, I feel like we're gonna go to that location at some point in time. And
I
like,
think
Yeah.
the name Rittenhouse also, if I'm not mistaken, Rittenhouse was the one that was known for penning the actual either the Declaration of Independence or the Bill of Rights. I think it was the Declaration of Independence.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
I
look
don't know.
more.
I'll have to
We'll look
that
more
up.
in between. Yeah.
Everybody, you've
Oh,
got
yeah.
your book report and assignments to do. Start
Yes.
studying up on Rittenhouse. Now, folks, as we wrap up real quick at the beginning of the episode, I was telling you about Kari Lane was so kind to bring back from Comic-Con
So
two of these
cool.
cool, swanky, timeless bags. There are 2 bags that Kari Lane has in her possession. That means 2 people have a chance to win one of these. Kari Lane, how are they going to do this?
So guys, 2 ways. One, leave a comment on this YouTube video letting us know what time period you would want to go to and why. It doesn't need to be long, but just where and why. It doesn't even need to be a specific event, but if you want to, you can. The other one is on iTunes. Leave a rating, 5-star rating, and a comment too about Timeless After Show.
Sure.
And we'll randomly select a winner by next week, so you have all of this week to do that. And yeah, good luck. So it's a nice bag. They gave them away at Comic-Con at the experience. So
It's really
There you
timeless.
go.
You can
So
keep
you-
this
and
forever.
then we get the mothership
stop
on
it.
the
Yeah.
back.
That's right. You've got...
This isn't
Yeah.
just trendy. This is timeless.
That's right.
Yes.
You've got a week, lazy bones. Get on it. In the meantime, folks, like us on Facebook. Give us those 5 stars on iTunes. Leave a comment as well for a chance to win that bag. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave a comment on there to also win a chance at this bag there. And you can just hop in the chat room. Alexis, Kari, thanks so much for manning the chat room.
Yeah, we
thanks
did.
everybody for sharing your thoughts. If you want to continue the conversation even after the show's over, Chris, where can they find you?
Oh, find me at Chris Howard Live on Twitter and Instagram.
And you guys can find me online at Kari D. Lane and on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at Kari Lane Actor.
And you can see me eating a bowl of Honey Bunches of Nope at atorres890, ATORRES890.
I've seen it. It's super exciting, guys.
It is.
Chows down on that. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie. Folks, we'll see you next week for another edition of the Timeless After Show here on AfterBuzz TV.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz after buzz.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.